Hey, my name is Laura Ferry, and welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I am talking everything personal growth, lifestyle, and business. I am so happy you're here. If you haven't yet, check out the blog at myinnerstruggle.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. That's the one. I wanted to talk today about a little experience that I had this weekend. I spent the weekend with my cousin and her fiance in the Catskills at their house, and I had the most amazing fucking time. And it was so good to be surrounded by people. And you might think that sounds kind of strange, but I am a single mom. I have 3 kids, and when they go with their dad, I don't have a circle of friends that I hang out with normally. And I think it's because of all the transition that is, but it just felt so good to be in a space where people, were like-minded. There wasn't any animosity or weirdness, and it was just a really great time. And we saw some great sights and had some great meals, and it was just amazing. And I am truly, truly grateful for the experience, and I can't wait to go back. And it just felt so good. It felt so good. I didn't want to come back to being by myself, but I think honestly, it was a glimpse from the universe to show what is to come. Transition is hard. Transition is messy. Change is messy. And when you increase your vibration, you may lose some of those relationships in your life that weren't exactly fulfilling or good for you. And that can be really scary and hard. And I promise you, it'll work out in the end. It can be lonely, and change is something that you really do need to dig into, and being alone is okay. And it's kind of crazy. So I blogged about it as well, and I want to share a few notes from my blog. If you don't read the blog and you would like to read the blog, go to myinnerstruggle.com and you can read it there. And I really started this self-growth process after the death of my mother, which was just about 8.5 years ago. And it didn't necessarily have to do with her exactly, but it was more of myself and how I saw myself and what direction my life was going in, and all the things that I needed to work on within myself to not, travel in that same path, if you will. And a lot of that I write more specifically in my book. And so I just was not a very happy person. It was much easier being angry or wearing a hard shell. And I hated myself, quite honestly. I hated everything about myself. I didn't feel like I had anything to contribute in a conversation, let alone to a relationship. And so when I really started digging in, I was able to uncover those parts of myself that needed healing and attention, and was able to grow from that. So this weekend was so fucking amazing, just being with people that aren't sitting there angry or annoyed at everything or criticizing something. And if you had asked me 2 years ago who I would be surrounded with today, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have thought that I was with my ex-boyfriend, that we would be, together, or I would have had, a similar group of friends or what have you. And the toughest part of the journey for me, I think, because I am such a people person, was being alone. And being left totally alone to sit in the silence, you're able to find yourself again. And sometimes you need to be, shaken up and settle back down, just like a snow globe, right? You shake it up and everything settles back down where it's supposed to. So if you caught the blog the previous week, if you are a reader, I talked about going through this and finding light on the other side. 2023 was probably the hardest year of my life. It was a really dark space, but there was so much discovery. It was also the most clarifying time, and I ended coming out of it the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I think I needed that, even though it was painful and I didn't want to be simmering in that. But here I am on the other side, and I had this beautiful weekend with these beautiful people doing wonderful things and seeing these amazing views and eating fucking delicious food and just having great conversation and wine and just sitting around a fire and meeting some new amazing people. It was just awesome, and I can't wait for that to continue. So one of the things that I have said, and you've probably heard before, and I'm not the first one to say it to you, is that you are a composition of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So if they aren't supporting your journey, think about that. Not that you have to cut people out of your life, but maybe those are the people that you don't take their opinions with such confidence. Maybe you need to step back and learn what's best for you, or, because we're all bringing our own bullshit to the conversation. So this continuous journey of finding myself and self-discovery and growth and to evolve into this best version of myself has brought me once again to a new level. And it's really cool in a way. Very cool. I don't even know if cool is the right word, but I found myself starting to set some healthy boundaries for myself and losing more. And I found that I didn't even realize what those relationships were in my life. And so I'm really happy now because I'm starting to meet those same people. I finally feel like I'm finding my tribe and I'm on my way, which is really cool because healthy relationships are what we need in our life. And this isn't all about the big circle and small circle, because that takes into account too. They say, as you get older, your circle gets smaller and smaller, which is true, right? We might not have 50 friends. We might have 5 friends, and it's this tight knit group of people, but those 5 people make sure that they're supporting you. If they're always criticizing your every move, that's not support. You want people that love and support you and respect you most of all. So I have been spending the last few weeks with a business client of mine that I had worked with previously, and I go to their house to work with them, and it's just a great space. And I leave there and I take a deep breath, and it's just such great energy, and it feels so fucking good because there's no one standing over me telling me that everything that I'm doing wrong. And that was a space that I came from in my last job, where I was not encouraged at all. And so it was kind of a tricky place to be in, because I wasn't there for me. I was there for the other people. And that's how I looked at it. I was there in service because I love people and people are my passion. So I didn't mind working hard for them, but it wasn't serving me the way I needed it to. And I wasn't getting out of it what I needed to. And so that is why I made that tough decision and sent me on this whirlwind of change. But working with this client, it's been fucking awesome. Just the energy leaving there, because they lived their life the same way, positive and not in the dark, and just very encouraging, empowering. And I love that space. And I'm so grateful to be in that space, helping them, feeling like I'm contributing and being complimented and not criticized. I am the first one to admit when I make a mistake, and I have no problem owning my own shit and fixing whatever I need to. And I assure you, when I do make a mistake, because we all make mistakes, I am tougher on myself than you ever need to be. And I would often share that in my previous roles. And right now, it just feels like this big sense of empowerment, because I know that I'm doing good work and I'm appreciated. And that feels really, really good. And that would go the same with my coaching clients too. When they have a positive result, that makes me feel good, which is also self-fulfilling. And speaking of clients, If you have not checked it out yet, go to myinnerstruggle.com and click on the Self Love Club. I offer a service where you can sign up as a monthly membership just to get the support and encouragement that you need to begin your own self love journey. It's been pretty amazing. And it's something that I've been wanting to build for a really long time. And that sense of community and support that I was lacking when I was starting out. That I didn't have anyone else that had been through this before. I felt like I was cultivating it all on my own. And I think that a lot of people feel that way when they start their own self-love journey or digging into whatever bullshit you have in your past. And the thing is that most of the work that you do, it's going to be on your own, whether you see a therapist or a coach or anyone else. It's what you do when you're not there that makes the biggest difference. Are you lying to yourself or the people around you, or are you working on yourself? I actually am in the middle of a book right now called The Miracle Morning, and it's pretty fucking incredible. And it's about, if you have not, I'm listening to it right now on audio and on Audible. And if you haven't listened to that yet, maybe you don't start there, maybe you start somewhere else. But this was a pretty cool concept, is, waking up and making your routine. And of course, your routine is going to be specific to your life. So I had a coach previously that would say, you got to get up, you got to do X, Y, Z. And I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and I have 3 kids. One's at college now, but to get out the door in the morning, it's not always so cut and dry. Like, this one's got to leave at this time. This one's got to leave at this time. And yes, my children are pretty independent and can take care of themselves, but you have to, keep the ball rolling in the morning sometimes. Or all the time, I should say. And if you're a mom and you're listening, I know that you can kind of relate. I mean, my kids are, like I said, they're pretty independent, and they can take care of themselves. They're not little, they're not toddlers or anything like that anymore, but you still have to keep the ball rolling and guide them. And you want to spend time with them too. So it's not always cut and dry, but you will find the right and appropriate morning routine that works for you. But this book is pretty awesome, very motivating and uplifting. So I've been enjoying that, and I'll be hopefully finishing that later today. So today, after this, I'll be heading to my client to work on more things with them. And then we just keep the ball rolling. And I was at a networking meeting earlier today, and I was speaking with a couple other fellow business owners that just, we have all got a lot of balls in the air, and how we tackle that, and how we conquer what we can accomplish during the day without losing your sanity. And the trick, I think, is making sure that you're not doing too much at any one point, right? So I noticed that in the springtime that I was overloading my schedule. And so that makes you feel unaccomplished at the end of the day if you still have all these things that you haven't checked off. So I've been learning to put less on my list for each day, and kind of spreading the stuff out so that it's much more manageable for me. So you'll find your different methods and ways. But if you do not follow me on Facebook already, please check in, because I share a lot of the things that I'm doing all the time, adjusting the schedules or tips and tricks and different things like that. So find My Inner Struggle on Facebook and follow that as well. So it's interesting, now that I've broken out of this kind of space, and took a trip this weekend up to the Catskills. I had kind of been staying close to home for a while, for probably the past year, as I was building my business and trying to focus in. And now, and I was suffering from major wanderlust, but I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. And we had happened to be talking, and my cousin was like, come up, and see me. And I was a little hesitant because driving by myself, and it seems so silly, but I was trying to figure out, why am I feeling this way? why, like I used to drive, I used to adventure and drive just 2 years ago and plus. And I had mentioned it to a few friends of mine this summer, and I was trying to figure out where is this coming from. And I think I just kind of, my confidence was suffering a little bit in that department on how, if something happened, what would I do? Who would I call? And things like that, kind of silly things. So I'm really glad that I dug into it and I ripped the Band-Aid off and I went. And just like all of the other things, I kind of associate getting over some of these anxieties as like microdosing yourself into pushing yourself into those things that make you uncomfortable so that you can get over them. Because it's not just going to go away. And then you're avoiding the things that you actually want to do because of these anxieties that we have full control over. We can decide that we're going to push through and make it happen because we're capable. Don't let your limiting beliefs of yourself and your fears take over. Let the desire for more win over the fear. So that being said, it's going to be a great day today. And I hope that you're listening to this in the morning and it motivates you. It's going to be a short podcast today because I'm on a little limited time and I'm trying to do less. But I'm glad that you were able to listen. If there are any topics that you ever would like to be covered, or if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to hit me up on social media or send me an email and let me know. Make sure that you go to myinnerstruggle.com and sign up for the newsletter. I send out a newsletter twice a week on Sunday evening to get you started for your week and on Wednesday to keep you going through your week. Make sure you check out the blog at myinnerstruggle.com. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening, either YouTube or Spotify, and follow me on Facebook. I am so grateful that you are here. I am so grateful that I get to share my message. I am so grateful that you get something out of this. Until next time, I'm thinking of you and sending you love.